Hello everybody, and welcome back to, well, what will be Chapter Master. This isn't the second take. I totally didn't actually start talking for 10 minutes and realise I'd never actually had my microphone plugged in. Anyway, apologies for my absence. Life and work has just been so absolutely hectic that I haven't actually had the time to make any videos, and my emergency stash has been dissipated, so I apologise for that. But anyway, welcome back to Chapter Master and one of my chapter creation guides. So it's been a while since I made one of these, but as per comment suggestions, I've come up with 4 chapters today I would like to show off for you all. The first one being the Minotaurs Legion. Now, of course, I imported all of the official chapter badges into the custom PNG folders because you may as well go to whole effort. Now, Minotaurs Legion, successor of the Ultramarines chapter, so I kind of kept the purity, stability, strength, cooperation about average. It's kind of fitting in with everything. Now, the Minotaurs Legion themselves, they've had so many retcons in terms of their lore and stuff, I wasn't quite sure what to go with. I went for, as you can see, I haven't got any advantages yet, but I will be adding one in a moment. As for their disadvantages, I went for Fresh Blood more because I needed the extra 20 points to get in one of the advantages, so that's actually not in reality fitting more with the Minotaurs Legion chapter, but there you go. Now, it's referenced that the Minotaurs Legion are very good at ambushing. It's referenced that they're very good at escorting and assisting guardsmen, small scale units, and it's also mentioned that they have a big history of fighting the Eldar. So it's also referenced they've got quite a good number of machines and experimental weaponry gifted to them by the Mechanicum. So it's hard to put all of that in, so I just went for enemy Eldar just to keep things simple. Now, of course, their homeworld, recruiting world, everything is set up, and that is actually perfectly standard. That is what it is. I'm taking everything off the thing. Now, they didn't actually have an official battle cry, but that was something said by one of the Minotaurs Legion sergeants, so I liked it, so I just used it. Of course, their colour scheme's the same and is accurate, except for the chest piece, which is actually gold, but unfortunately it's stuck with red because, limitations of the colour scheme, but there isn't anything too bad. All the chapter names and everything are correct, and they are true with canon, so that's perfectly fine. Although I think one of them's technically dead as of M41, but, keep quiet about that. Now, they do call their first company Elite Carder, which I found fascinating, so I've changed that in the Astartes role settings there. And, basically everything's pretty much the same in how it should be, so that's pretty good. Oh yes, this is where previous me who was recording this realised the game glitched and had to fix it. Poor previous me. He's had such a hard few weeks. Alright, now of course there's Ultramarine successors, no GZ mutations or anything like that. Everything's all correct and clear. Everything's all good. Now the Chapter Master, of course the name's correct. It doesn't actually list in anywhere what his weapons are, so I thought Power Fists and a Bolt Pistol, or in this case Integrated Bolters, would be the most fitting. So, moving on to the next chapter on the list, we have my most hated chapter, the Minotaurs. Yes, I absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, despise these guys. Not just for what they do to the Lamenters, not just because they're the High Lord's personal slaves, but because they are the complete and utter scum of the universe, and I'm glad the Death Guard got around to exterminating their gene seed. Anyway, standard chapter strength, cooperation minimum, because everybody hates them, including me. Purity and stability, it's referenced their gene seed's chimeric, but I just keep it simple. Now, melee enthusiasts, enemy fallen to represent their fighting with space marines. Crafters, because they got a lot of heresy era equipment. Suspicious, again, the Inquisition don't really trust them. It's referenced their homeworld possibly could be Terra, but it's not confirmed, so I just went for Terra, may as well. Everything, standard blood deal, I just thought that was fitting in terms of how the Minotaurs act. No official battle cry, so I just went with whatever. Their colour scheme is all correct and accurate, of course. All the names are accurate in terms of their officers. I think the Master of the Fleet is technically the 5th Company Captain, as opposed to the 4th, but No mutations or anything, despite, their gene seed possibly being chimeric. Now, the Chapter Master, unfortunately, I couldn't give him his trademark Power Spear, so Power Sword and the Storm Shield's kind of the best we can do. Alright, so, moving on, at the Red Scorpions. Now, this was another chapter that was slightly hard to do in the sense of the fact that, oh yes, I did import the thing, thank you very much, previous me. Of course, purity, stability, they're all pretty high. You know how insane the Red Scorpions are about having high purity and stability in their gene seed. Crafters, again, because they have a lot of Heresy-era equipment, Mark IV armor, things like that. It's kind of hard because the Red Scorpions have quite a few advantages, but it's hard to list them all within the limitations of the game engine. So I figured Crafters was probably the best to encompass their weapons and equipment. Again, Homeworld, Recruiting World is all correct, as with their aspirant trials. It's kind of funny that they recruit from a death world. Strength and purity, of course, their battle cry. Grey and yellow, their standard colour scheme. All the names are correct, as per usual. They call their captains commanders, so I just changed that in terms of the thing. No mutations or defects, which is all good. Now, Carib Cullum himself, couldn't give him Terminator armor, but Power Sword with the Storm Bolters / Integrated Bolters, Born Leader. And finally, the Mortificators. Yes, so, these guys were of course very hard to do as well. Not because of the limitations of the game engine, more that there's bugger all known about them. They're Ultramarine successors, they're pretty grim and edgy, they have a habit for cannibalism, but there isn't too much known about their fighting style or tactics or anything. I went for one-off purity for a reason I will explain later. Stability, of course, 100% Ultramarines. Ambushes, it's referenced they do a lot of nighttime attacks in the lore. Melee enthusiasts, because it's referenced they're pretty good with blades. Suspicious, well, the cannibalism and things kind of attract the suspicion of the Inquisition a little bit. Homeworld and Recruiting World are all accurate. Blood Duel is actually accurate in terms of how they recruit from the Death Tribes. And, of course, tribesmen, all that. Again, no official battle cry, but again, that was something really awesome said by a Mortificator Sergeant, so I went with it as the battle cry. Their colour scheme is the bone, black and green. Of course, the eagle on the chest piece is actually bone, but again, limitations of the game engine. Of course, all the names are correct. Now, it's referenced in the lore that they have a tendency for cannibalism and to eat their own and enemies after battles. Therefore, I went for the hypersensitive Omophagia to represent this in the lore, rather than to represent it overall. Now, their Chapter Master, it's referenced in lore he had a massive two-handed power scythe, but unfortunately, I couldn't do that within the lore, so I just went with the Power Blade and Plasma Pistol combo. It'd be cool if you could get more weapons, but oh well. So, yeah, there we go. Sorry, this is just previous me admiring his colour scheme, which I must admit, the Horus Heresy mod really brings out the sharpness of a lot of the colour schemes. It's nice to see them, actually. And I hope the finished version will be even sharper in terms of showing off the different colours. So anyway, thank you very much, lads, for watching this. It's been a long time since I made one of these, and I think in future I need to do a transition between each of the chapters just to give a bit of breathing space and to give me a bit more of a break. But again, as I said, this is a bit of an experimental thing, and I haven't done this in quite a while, and I'm a bit rusty at it. Also, I must admit, lads, I'm pretty burnt out. Work's been pretty insane lately, and I've just been incredibly burnt out and tired. I referenced it a little bit on my Discord, but, when I don't even have the time to make a half of an hour video in the end of each night because I'm too tired or, melting out, it's kind of sad. But oh well. Catch you all later, lads.